In February this year, as governments across the Middle East were brutally suppressing peaceful protesters, Prime Minister David Cameron embarked on a tour of the region accompanied by several major arms dealers. Although he denied the purpose of the trip was to sell weapons, Cameron was widely condemned, given Britain's long record of arming Middle East dictators who oppress their own people. And now a new parliamentary report has concluded that the government, as well as its predecessor, underestimated the risks of selling arms to authoritarian regimes in the Middle East and North Africa. The report by the Committee on Arms Exports Controls welcomed the revocation of some licences to regimes such as the ones in Libya, Bahrain and Egypt. But it said that overall the government really needed to review its whole policy of selling arms to authoritarian regimes.
We would say, particularly in the case of Libya, where we've sold crowd control vehicles, crowd control ammunition, tear gas, combat shotguns, small arms ammunition, we would say that those licences were reckless, not just misjudged.
The report found that the UK sold tear gas, crowd control armaments and sniper rifles to Libya and Bahrain in 2010. And it supplied armoured carriers used against protesters in Libya in 2011. The report concluded that arms exports to Saudi Arabia should be reviewed, given the possibility that British weapons were used in the devastating attack on Yemen in 2009-2010, and are being used in the current Saudi-led invasion of Bahrain. And the report stated that the government should clarify its position on selling arms to Israel, given the near certainty that British arms were used during Operation Cast Lead and in suppressing Palestinians in the occupied territories. Britain is one of the world's biggest arms exporters, and the industry is worth billions of pounds every year. Major arms dealers are thought to have much influence over politicians and say their industry employs hundreds of thousands of British workers.
The lessons of what's happened across the Middle East and North Africa over recent months has clearly demonstrated serious failings with how the UK government assesses the likely risk of its arms exports. The policy is very clear. The policy says that UK weapons should not be sold where there is a clear risk that they will be used in the brutal crackdown of populations. Now, in too many instances we've seen, the government has licensed when it should have said no.
The government says it's conducting a review of its arms exports, and since the uprisings in the Arab world, 156 export licenses to Libya, Bahrain, Egypt and Tunisia have been revoked. It also says that its arms exports are stringently policed by some of the strictest export controls in the world. Roshan Mohammed Salih, Press TV, London.